Hey y'all, Jeff here with Jeff's Garage Unfiltered. Welcome back to another video, and I haven't done a video in a little while, but there's a change. You see what's in this garage? This is my 350 SL convertible, 1972, and in order to have gotten this out, because it was on the lift, if you all remember in previous videos, I had to get the 560 out of there so I can lower the lift, get this car out. But you see what's not in here, and that's the 280 SEL 4.5. But to begin with, on the 560 SEL, if you all go back a few videos, and I did do a video last weekend of Yui fixing this, but we had to pretty much destroy the ignition system. Now, there's a lot of videos out there that talk about, taking your key in and putting turning the ignition to position number 1, and it allows to take this out. In our case, we couldn't get the ignition key to turn. And so what we ended up doing, we tried the screwdriver trick. And I don't know if you can see all of this, but we tried the screwdriver trick, pound that in, that didn't work. We could not get anything to function whatsoever. And so what we ended up doing was taking all the lower parts of the dash out, and there's a pin right here that's supposed to release. That wasn't releasing either. It's flat. It literally is stuck. It would not release. So what we ended up having to do was we started to drill it out, and we were able to drill out the hole that this pin connects on so that we could pull the whole unit out. And as you see, this piece here, it's not quite all the way positioned back in there, because once you pull it out, I think Yui actually tapped on this and it released this after we got it out. So all in all, took this out. Now, I got on eBay and I bought a whole assembly. In fact, it came with both the door handles and so on and so forth. But what it came with was the valet key. Didn't come with the original Mercedes ignition key, door key, and whatnot. It came with a valet key. Well, the valet key supposedly, and I've only, the 300 SD has a valet key. None of the rest of my cars have valet keys. And valet keys are the round one or the oval one, not the square-bodied one. And if you look at the teeth, they're actually different. And I said, well, that ain't good enough. I really want a regular key so that all functions work. So I got back on eBay and I was able to find, and I think it's a Bremmy. The key is different. In fact, I don't know if you can see it. Here's the original key, and here is the other key. And it's for W126, because this assembly is different on the 126 than it is on any of the other chassis. So what this key is it's actually like a traditional key versus the laser cut with the flat spot in the middle. So it's just like that, and which is fine. That's fine for me. Because I wanted to keep the originality of the door, and I didn't want to change all of the other, because if I were to order a key cut like I did, and if you go back a few videos, I actually ordered a key cut directly from a place in Texas that's for Mercedes-Benz, and so I got a brand new key. Now, it's not going to work the ignition, but it will work the doors, and it will work the not the glove box, the center gizmo, and then of course the trunk. So on my key ring, I'll have the little red dot to indicate that's my door key, and then I have this key to get in and use in the ignition. Not all bad, because GM, you had a round key and you had a square key, all through the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So now I have the 350 SL. I actually took it out for a drive. It was filthy dusty sitting up there on the top of the lift for the winter months, and had a battery tender on it. Started right up and drove it around the block. It's got a transmission fluid leak someplace because it leaked on the exhaust. But once I got that done, kind of burnt off, it drove around the block. It still has transmission fluid in it, so it wasn't slipping or anything. So now the next project is, I've got the convertible top, the new canvas, or the new convertible cloth top. I'll probably next weekend we'll get the hard top off and start working on changing the soft top. And then there's some other details and so on and so forth that need to do. However, there are some things, and there will be another video coming up right after this one that I'm going to talk about. But I've got some dilemmas that I need to sort through. And so let me put the camera over. Let's just sling it around right into here to where you can, see the 280 SEL 4.5 up on top. So I got the two big cars in here. This car, the 280 SEL 4.5, starts and it runs and it drives. However, with it sitting in the garage, and the starter, Yui got the starter put on, and I had a piece of cardboard laying underneath the car. The bagger, the cardboard for the bagger for the John Deere. It came separate when I bought the new mower, which was also in that garage. The problem is, had an oil leak. Don't know where it come from. Not really sure. But the oil that was on the cardboard was a Milky Way, or a chocolate shake, so to speak. And I thought, oh my goodness. I don't know when that happened, because when I bought the car and I first got the car, I drove it around. Everything was fine. I checked the systems, I checked the coolant, I checked the oil, everything. I mean, it had good, clean oil. And I remember this because when I towed it home, one of the things that I did before I even got here, before I even bought the car, was I pulled the dipstick and the oil was clean. It had been changed very recently and then was parked. But I had driven it around a little bit, throughout the winter months, just to kind of keep everything lubricated. And one of the times, and my neighbor across the street has my old 300 SE, I pulled up in his driveway and was chatting with him and was watching the temperature gauge just keep going up above. And it was just above 175 degrees on the temperature gauge, and not alarming, but it was a cold day, so it shouldn't have gone too much, gone up too quickly. So I thought, well, I'm going to drive it back, and I pulled into the alley, and I was going to back it back in the garage. The car died. Wouldn't restart. Okay, so usually that means, in an older car, that's a vapor lock. And a lot of times ethanol fuel will cause it. Well, there's never been any ethanol fuel put in that car since I've had it. And I've put in, we've already drained the tank. We changed the fuel filter screen in the tank, because it's easily accessible in this car because it's right there. You can, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but the shiny thing, we changed that. And, you know, so the fuel, the tank was completely drained, and our station up here does not have ethanol premium. So we put in premium non-ethanol fuel. Oh, excuse me. So I'll try and bloop that out of there. So after it parked here in the alley, I had to go in and get my wife, and I had to hook it up to the, you know, to another car and pull it around. And then I let it sit for 2, 3, 4 hours. I think it was about 2.5, 3 hours. And then it started right up. So immediately I backed it in there, and that was it. And then I left it sit. And so then after the starter and all of that, you know, with the starter and everything, I thought, you know, and I remember I had a video where I suspected, you know, something was wrong because it had drained all the coolant out of it. So I pressure tested. I think I have a video. If not, yeah, it's on the 280 SEL series. I pressure tested it in several hours of testing the, you know, pressure testing the coolant system. No issues. Well, there must be an issue because now I have milky oil, and I'm not sure what to do. And this is where I need you all to kind of help me. I mean, financially, it's going to be expensive. Now, it could be a winter project. You know, I could pull it back into that garage next fall and winter, and you and I can tear down the engine. You know, however, is it a head gasket? That's a big question. Is it a cracked block? Did this problem exist before I even got it and it was just covered up? You know, who knows? Because the car sat for several years. It's a California car, and it was brought up here, and it was bought, and you know, so and I'll tell you where I'm at. You know, I'm $2,500 in the car. I've got $800 in tires on it. I've got, you know, I started on the trunk. You know, the underneath side, I've already lined the bottom. You know, we got a new fuel pump on it. We got a fuel filter screen. You know, cleaned the carpets, redid the bolts, and got the passenger seat to work. You know, there's been a lot of things. I've got spark plugs for it, just haven't changed them. Of course, that's immaterial right now because, you know, I've got a milkshake for oil. You know, so all in all, I probably have about $3,500 in the car. Would I get that? It's a 1972 280 SEL W108 long wheelbase. You know, there's virtually, you can't really see it up here. I mean, the exhaust has got some rust. There's a little bit of rust on some of the, you know, the rear differential, but all in all, there is no other real significant amount of rust on this car. You know, kind of power wash it, let it dry, and, you know, shoot a coat of paint underneath there, and it'll look, you know, really good. You know, it needs some bushings. A lot of bushings need to be changed. What's it worth? You know, what's this car actually worth? That's where I need comments. I'm thinking financially, I probably need to sell it because I don't know if I want to spend the time tearing down a motor. Is that car worth it? But am I going to get at least what I have in it, $3,500? I don't know. I like your comments, and please do put those down. I will. There is another video coming up that I will talk about. You know, the finances and the you know, the how our current you know, economy is now starting to affect me. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you haven't. Share with your friends. And if you are interested in in purchasing the 280 SEL, it will not drive to wherever your destination is. But however, it does run, and it does start and run. And you'll have to get another battery. The battery I put in there apparently doesn't want to hold its charge even when it's disconnected. So you'll have to buy another battery, which is, invested in removing the battery plate location from the rear of the, in the trunk where it was. So it could be for sale. If you're interested and are willing to give me $3,500, send me an email, jeff.liechti@gmail.com, or put it down in the comments, your email down in the comments, and I'll email you back. And I'll take, in a week or so, I'll get it back down and take some more pictures. I'll take some pictures of the underneath side at some point in time. So thanks for watching. Again, hit subscribe if you haven't, share with your friends, and set the reminder for my next videos. Have a great day. And you see my backdrop? See what I got to deal with?